Disregard females and acquire currency.
I'm white, and I've got everything I need. No one clutches their purses when they're in a room alone with me. And I can drive through any neighborhood I please at any hour, and the police don't do a thing. So if I see a penny on the ground, I leave it alone and fucking flip it. I'm a straight white male in America. I got everything I need. I'm a guy getting paid more than a girl with a degree. And I can walk down the streets after dark, no one wants to rape me. And I can get a girl pregnant and just as easily flee. Just like my straight white male dad did to me. So if I see a penny on the ground, I leave it alone and fucking flip it. I'm a straight white male in America. I've got all the luck I need. I've got a pile of broken mirrors and I'm walking under ladders and I'm spilling tons of salt, but to me that doesn't matter, cause my skin and my gender and my orientation are the best things to have if you live in this nation. I recommend it highly. I see a penny on the ground, I leave it alone and fucking flip it. I'm a straight white male in America. I've got all the luck I need. Shit's gonna work out for me, cause I'm a straight white male in America. I've got all the luck I need.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Intellectual Dollar Tree. We do the show live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure you check out our other podcasts. We got the Plex, Down Ballot, occasionally Local Love, the How the Tech Are You, and that's it. I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Grindr.
And I am HK Perrin. You can find me on Mastodon at hperrin at port87.social.
Great. Can you find the gain for your mic and turn it up a little bit?
How's that? Better?
Much better. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Excellent. So we've been trying to not cover the same group of people, and I think unfortunately this week we're doing something called the Iced Coffee Hour. I didn't look too much into it, but it looks maximum cringe, and it looks like it's sort of like that like wealth influencer shit, I think. And it's going to be probably men's rights activist adjacent and completely galaxy fucking brain. So let's give this a go.
I've had that a few times. Fans break in and had a guy try to steal all my cars. Get 7 counts of grand theft larceny or grand theft auto.
There's no way you'd be able to even get away with that though, because it was all like orange exotic Lamborghinis, red Ferraris.
Did I tell you the story on the last episode?
No.
I used to have a place in San Diego and LA. Take a helicopter back and forth till I got freaked out once on a helicopter. I'm like, that's the last time I went on a helicopter. Those things are too dangerous. So I'm down in San Diego in La Jolla, and I get a call 3 a.m. I usually have my phone on. I pick it up. Beverly Hills address. Hi, this is Beverly Hills Police Department. We have a strange question for you. Do you have a business partner that you gave authorization to take your cars? I'm like, I don't have a business partner. Like, that's what we thought. Hang up. 5 minutes later. Okay, the guy changed his story. Did you do a Snapchat contest that the first person who can break into your house and take a car, you'll give him like an award for ingenuity and creativity? I was like, what do you think? What happened? He's like, all right, we got a guy here. It was all on camera. This guy, I had security with a dude with a machine gun for 2 years.
What the fuck?
$25,000 a month.
For a guy with a machine gun?
Yeah, I used to do gun of the day on my Snapchat. I thought it was a good way to scare people off, and it was kind of fun. So
people were that invasive?
Oh, dude, like it was a big problem. So I had a house in Beverly Hills, and the address got out early. Like people.
Hey, can we pause real quick? And I want to give a little background on this guy. So this is Ty Lopez. If you're not familiar with him, he's kind of like the get rich quick guy who a while ago put out this ad on YouTube where he was like, Here I am in my garage with my brand new Lamborghini. I just bought these 7 new bookcases to hold all my books. I read a book a day because I love knowledge.
I'm not sure that's good background, but it's fucking cringe. So that's
I mean, I'm sure if you've been on YouTube a while, you saw those videos. They were on like every video.
So it
This
had
was Rexford, right?
Rexford. It had
Yep.
I was there for
You know?
15 to 19.
You No, you didn't.
I did.
Yes.
So you
Tell
wouldn't. Okay, so I typed in. Well, here's I was in real estate.
what's with the weird fucking lights that look like that are behind them that look like fucking like almost like janky lightsabers. Do you see that?
They're like Edison style, but like long.
Their set is so ugly.
I knew the house that you were renting at the
Yeah.
time. You could look it up on the MLS. One time I showed up and I rang the gate and no one picked up and that was it.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting anything. I just thought like, oh, it's kind of fun. Let's ring the gate.
Yeah.
It's
Is this when
terrible.
I was there?
This is when you were
Okay,
there. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. The second time, we just happened to be driving by because some people were from out of town.
Yeah.
And I wanted to show them like, oh, Ty Lopez lives here.
Yeah.
And your gate was open with all the cars.
Okay.
And so we stopped and they were like taking pictures. And you were not there, but we weren't going to
Yeah.
do anything. But we just saw the cars.
Yeah,
and
the bug.
I don't know who these two are. They do a iced coffee podcast. It has almost 1 million followers, like 750,000 followers. I have no idea.
Come out.
And that
what
was-
are you doing
yeah.
here? But yeah, this dude. So I'm in San Diego. I'm like, no, I didn't do a Snapchat contest to break into my house. So it turned out we got all the footage because I had cameras. He timed it because I had German Shepherds and it was a South African equivalent of a Navy SEAL, this guy. It was a big one.
Whoa, that's a big fucking red flag. This guy is a South African equivalent of a Navy SEAL with a fucking machine gun guarding his Lambos. What a fucking weirdo.
I mean, yeah, that's par for the course with this guy. He's a fucking weirdo.
Back, jumped over, got in the side door, went into my kitchen. 30 minutes on camera. He made sandwiches for himself, packed a cooler,
Oh, he's seen Burn Notice. He said that, like, one of the spy tips on there is the best thing to do after you break in someone's house is like go get a yogurt or make a sandwich, and if anybody finds you, just act confused.
almonds, nuts, water, all this. He knew where my keys were. I don't know how. He kind of looked around. Eventually, I started locking up my keys, but then he went out in the garage.
But what if they find the keys to your keys?
Vent door. It's a little bit hard to turn on if you don't know how to do it. Couldn't figure it out. Switches over. I had 2 Rolls, 2 Lambos, a Ferrari, and a Maserati. Couldn't get any of them except the Maserati. Stupid Maserati. I hate Maserati. He figured out how to turn it on, put all that stuff in the trunk, backed up, but couldn't figure out the gate. There was a garage door and then a gate. And so my brother would house sit. 2 of my brothers, and they were there with their girlfriends asleep upstairs. It's a big house, had 17 bedrooms. And of course, my brother's supposed to be protecting the place. Don't hear shit. The girlfriend, Jocelyn, wakes up and is like, somebody's down in the garage. And it's a good thing she didn't go down because this was a huge white guy. It was a big redneck. And he had come like 4 times in the last month and scared her at the door. Like, I want to meet Ty. I want to talk to him about business and stuff. So she just looked out the window and saw him pulling out. And she called. I lived that Rexford Street's on the Beverly Hills Police Department, same street.
Yeah.
They came like 15 cops, jumped, held him at gunpoint, and he started telling stories like, no, I'm Ty's business partner first. And Jocelyn's like, no, it's not. And I said, oh, no, it was a contest on Snapchat. Yeah, that dude went to prison, but he got out like a month later because of overcrowding. Like California doesn't even hold.
Well, no, it's because he didn't succeed in stealing your cars and shit. So he got out in 30 days. He got a slap on the wrist. Maybe it was his first offense. Like stealing one of your like 93 cars from your 17 bedroom mansion. I almost feel like, I don't know, man. I feel like that's a bit of a public service. Like, oh man.
Yeah, I'm kind of on that guy's side too.
He didn't even steal one of the expensive ones. He's like, I don't even like that car. Well, then you should have given it to him, fool.
Like calling Beverly Hills, I'm like, this dude's gonna come back. They're like, well, you can get a restraining order. I'm like, California's fucked. But anyway, so benefits of when I was just part of the crowd and people didn't.
I live in California, and he's right. I've died like 5 times walking down the street. been
stuff
murdered.
about it, man. You know, like Shakespeare said, heavy hangs the head that wears the crown. I see all these people. It's like, I've been the most Googled person. I was like a month, I was like the most Googled person in the world. I'm like,
Yeah, because everyone was like, who the fuck is this dude in front of my YouTube video talking about his Lamborghini and his 1,000 books?
Lamborghinis.
It was just the one in the video, but I'm sure he had more.
His other Lamborghini goes to a different school and you can't meet it.
that anymore.
So what is
Supposedly the house that he was in that ad, he was just renting. So like that was great.
And
Like an Airbnb style rent.
it's cut off before then you're a king?
I had somebody yesterday. I did that seminar you spoke at. Thanks for speaking. And somebody said, what was the happiest you ever were, Ty? I'm like, I think 2013. Because 2013, I was kind of a local celebrity in Hollywood because I've been doing parties. I did house parties. I wasn't really globally known, and I had just built an Instagram. I got on it pretty early. So 2013, I was making 7 figures, not 8 figures, with decent net margins. Okay, so I had money. I had a little place, but it was cool. Did you ever come to my place up in the Hollywood Hills?
No.
It was a bad house, cool house. It wasn't huge. It was probably like 6,000 square feet.
Wasn't huge, probably like 6,000 square feet. Are you with us, HK?
Yes. I'm trying to. This guy doesn't have a Wikipedia page. Interesting.
So no.
6,000 square feet. Is that what he said?
Never mind.
Like I could see the ghetto where I was born. I could see from Hollywood to Long Beach, which is 35 miles on a clear day. And it had a pool, infinity pool. And it was like, and I had the Lambo and Ferrari and stuff like that. But I was still, and I was, like I said, I was probably netting. I don't know what I was netting, but let's say 500 grand to $1 million or something like that. So you had all the money you needed. I didn't have that much responsibility. I had like 6 people that worked in the house for me. I was making money online.
1 person per 1,000 square feet. That's the rule.
I always had. And I would wake up and I decided I was going to build my personal brand. And I would read 3 books. I would read, people gave me a hard time. Like, no way Tyler reads a book a day. Dude, I would lay out 3 books on the bed. This is better. To me, my brother is like, Ty, you need to do ayahuasca. I'm like, dude, I've already done the mind trips. I've already done the LSD, but like my version of it. You take 3 insane books and you read them all at the same time. I'd read.
Wait, what do you mean all at the same time? Like,
Excuse me? Wait.
do you get is it like a triple monitor setup, but for books?
And what does he mean by read? Does he just mean like flip through the pages? That's not reading. Like you can't just read like 1 word per page.
Oh, thank you, historian Matt, for giving us. This is the cringest shit ever so far. Like, but he means all at this. Does he mean all in the same day or like all at the same time?
He said he would lay them out. He means all at literally the same time. Which no, that's not how you should read. That's not how anyone reads. No.
One, it's like, so you switch from like Voltaire, like a philosopher, you switch to like a business book like Peter Drucker, and then you switch to like, I don't know, history or something. And I would do that and I would summarize books. I had built my book brand by just taking.
He had a hard time even naming 3 authors.
I don't know, history or something.
That's what happens when you read 3 books all at the same time. You don't fucking, you don't like glean any information from any of them, actually. It's like the, is, and period, Holy shit, man.
10 friends, CCing on a Gmail and say, every day I'm going to send you a book summary. I would write them. It'd take me like 3 hours to read the books. I would like really speed read. You get
3 books in 3 hours?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, like speed reading's bullshit, right? You can learn to read faster,
but like speed reading a book in 1 hour is bullshit. Yeah, absolutely.
No, you can learn to read faster by reading more often, but that fucking that shit that they tried to sell you programs for, that's bullshit, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah, obviously if you read more, you're going to be able to read more quickly and still retain reading comprehension, but it's not like the speed readers. They would just like take their finger down a page, be like, I read it. Take their finger down a page, be like, I read it. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Yeah. Describe what it just said.
Right. Well, that's because they read it before. normal speed.
Well, there are people who read books in like a weekend. Like that's
You can read a book. You can read a book in a
perfectly
day,
doable.
but you better not have shit else to do.
Yeah, seriously.
It's like a big deal. You have to like, it's almost like going to the brain gym. I like
Sure.
hook myself up. I'd do like 2 hours. I'd read them. I'd read most of them. It depends if it was a huge textbook. I couldn't finish it, but then I would summarize it, send it out, and then I have my other online businesses. And then at night I would go out, have fun.
Wait, was he like doing like a fucking cliff notes of these books that he wasn't reading and then fucking selling that shit and then spending the money on cocaine at the club?
I have no idea what this guy did.
Sounds good to me.
All my friends have moved out from North Carolina. Shit, that was the life. I remember, I call this the wake up tap dance test. Warren Buffett says, somebody asked him, are you happy? He's like, man, I'm 93 and I tap dance out of bed to the office every day. My office was in the same house.
Yeah.
And I'd wake, I remember, I can just vividly remember the room. I used to change which one was my master bedroom. And I remember what year it was because of the master bedroom. And I was just like, everything's perfect in my life. I felt like, I was like, oh, that's the best. And then from there, that brand started to grow and went from local brand to all.
You would change which room was the master bedroom?
I think that just meant that he would go to sleep in a different room. Right? I think
Okay.
like
Because usually there's like one master bedroom and it's the one with the nice bathroom attached to it.
sure, but in your 6,000 square foot house, maybe you got a couple of them and you just rotate between them.
Yeah, maybe.
And then it only takes a matter of months till bullshit starts to happen. Like people talk shit about you. You're always like, what? You're like, what is going on? And so men are basically driven, Schopenhauer, the philosopher, said men are driven by three things: food, sex, and boredom. But I think it was wrong. I think men are driven by envy too. So the second you're on the rise, past people they don't feel threatened.
As opposed to women who
like, oh, I'm a little prince of
absolutely
Hollywood, right?
despise
Like,
food,
going to any club,
right?
making money,
And don't envy one
no
another.
woman eats food.
Don't envy one another. Never get bored.
Yep.
wasn't a threat to dudes that saw themselves as a king. The second you become a potential king, then all the current kings try to knock you down. Dr. Buss, my evolutionary psychologist mentor, calls that derogation of competitors. So it's all of a sudden it's like a blog about you, like, oh, fuck Ty, it's a green screen. No, it's not. It's all fake. So all of a sudden, like Shakespeare said, heavy hangs the head that wears the crown. So you don't really want to wear the crown.
Is it worth it then to limit yourself in terms of potential not to be a king?
Yes.
Or can you be a king disguised as a prince?
Yeah, sure. You can, but you're a smart guy. That's probably,
I'm confused.
You're hyper ambitious.
So this guy, I think he got mad that people were writing about him being a grifter.
Okay.
I think that's what happened here.
So he started grifting harder?
He probably went on the I'm complaining about people criticizing me grift at some point, because that's just the next logical step.
I think that's what he's doing right now, right?
I think that's where you end up. Like, that's the end point.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not cool like haters gonna hate. It's not cool like that.
You want to be a king disguised as a prince, but the word will get out that you're a king. And the four drivers of humans, especially males, will kick in, especially the fourth of envy. People will envy you.
But before we go into that, we got to thank today's sponsor, Shop.
Tax. Shopify online
with
flexible payments from
I'm glad we're with fourth wall.
Plus, they have an
trial your on.
shop the podcast. But for most people, is it just criticism?
Criticism. I mean, first time I remember moving to Beverly Hills, making money now, and get a maid service, a big house. You know, that house was 18,000 square feet. So you get a maid service, they send maids there and you test out different ones. And I was like, this maid seems pretty good. Then you get a lawsuit from her on her first day that she tripped on a banana peel. No joke.
Tripped on a banana peel. She
I'm
couldn't
like,
come.
He's lying. That's probably not what she sued him about.
Yeah, I would be extremely surprised if that is actually what happened.
I wonder if he just left a bunch of banana peels everywhere to see if someone would slip on them.
Maybe.
Was something more original?
I'd like, this lady watched Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny. I remember
an anvil fell on her head.
Piano.
I mean, a better question would be, why is there a banana peel on his floor?
Well, it's because he didn't have a maid yet, you see, and like cleaning up after yourself is fucking peasant work, HK.
I would hardly consider like putting a banana peel down anywhere but the floor to be cleaning up after yourself. But
his brother,
it's just me, I guess.
Neither of his brother's girlfriends were there to clean up after him.
Like even just put it down on the table.
Right. Maybe she was walking on the table. Who knows? Reading 3 books at once so you don't have to clean is what we get from the chat. That's what happens. You're reading 3 books at once. You don't got time for the banana peel. You just chuck it.
Yeah, but it was real. It was literally.
You know what's crazy is that they don't have iced coffee. This guy appears to be drinking iced tea, and these other 2 people are drinking probably like alkaline water or some shit.
The garbage cans in the back. She's like, I went around and take the garbage out, and I slipped there with banana peels. It said banana peels in the. That was a frivolous lawsuit, so it goes away. But I mean, I never had that kind of stuff happen when I was a prince. I remember Mr. Beast came to visit me in 2020. He's like, Ty, you're a big inspiration of mine. I've always wanted to meet you. So he comes up when I was living in New York, and he's like, you know, it's weird. I look at your net worth. He's like, it says 5 million online. He's like, that's your real net worth. I'm like, that's the king disguised as a prince. You want that?
I know that's probably called tax fraud.
Probably.
Or also these like net worth sites online, or like they just guess a lot of the time, right? Like I saw one where it was like Sam Cedar and it said $27 million, and I'm like, Sam Cedar is not worth no $27 million.
5 million. You want a permanent 5 million Googleable net worth, because at 5 million it shows you know you're above average. You make some money. You can provide if you're looking for a long-term mate. Guys will respect you, but
well, then why don't I'm getting the feeling this guy doesn't have a long-term mate?
I mean, what's wrong with making like 100,000?
Well, net worth you could be worth 5 million after making 100,000 for if you're smart with your investments and stuff. After making 100K a year, you can make worth 5 million after 10, 12 years.
Depends on where you live. It'd
tough.
be real hard to do that in the Bay Area.
Yeah, it's tough, but you could do it.
You're not a target. Lawyers aren't going to go, oh, you slept with that dude? Woman, put some pressure on him. If it shows $50 million, lawyers work on contingency. They're like, well, 50 million, I could squeeze 5 million out of them. I'll get half of it. Lawyers take 50, 60%. So all of a sudden, look at every man who is at current king status. You know, some people are like, oh, you fell off. I'm like, I fell off on purpose, bro. I'll let you be the king. Now watch who's the king of the world? Donald Trump, most Googleable person in the world. For 4 years was the most powerful man in history. If you run the U.S. military, nobody. I mean, you can bring down.
Yeah, but the U.S. military didn't do what he said when the chips were down, and they told him to go fuck himself. Actually, I don't want to get too much into that,
true.
but they were famously. Mark Milley was like, "That's fucking crazy," or something that you would not expect a highly professional person to tell the president, right?
Yep.
It was some kind of "Are you out of your damn mind?" shit that was the response. So he didn't really command the military, sir.
And like, of course, this guy idolizes Trump.
I thought he was going to say Elon Musk. I was stunned when it wasn't Elon Musk.
That's a good point. It's always either Trump or Musk.
World. Where is he now? 71 indictments, multiple weird lawsuits. Like,
Yeah.
So do you want to be that guy? That he's not even president.
4 indictments, 91 charges.
That's even worse than a king. What happened to Napoleon Bonaparte, the greatest general of probably statistically of all time? Nobody's ever had 60 major battles. Alexander the Great had 6. Napoleon had 60, and he won like 52 of them. Okay? But how do most people remember Napoleon? Because he was an emperor. He made people call himself the emperor. Had a little narcissism going there.
Most people remember that he's short.
He ends up...
And he actually wasn't that short, but...
in exile on an
island. Maybe that 60 battles is apocryphal as well. Who knows?
Africa called, Saint Helena. Mm-hmm. So people are gunning for you. Andrew Tate, Ben Shapiro. You see all these people that are Elon Musk. He was loved.
Wait, why was Ben Shapiro in there?
name people that the audience knows.
I remember first seeing Elon. I went to a fireside chat in 2011. A friend's like, "You want to meet this guy, Elon Musk?" I'm like, "I don't know who that is." He was more of a San Francisco local celebrity. All of a sudden,
In 2011, he didn't know who Elon Musk was.
or 20,
I don't believe him.
You take over Twitter X, 50% of the world doesn't like him because they perceive him as a right-wing guy. That doesn't end well. Andrew Tate.
No, that is not the reason. They don't like him because he is a right-wing guy,
Well, it's
and
his
he's
behavior.
made Twitter extremely partisan.
Well, it's his behavior as well, though. It's not just Twitter. If you remember the guy that didn't like his submarine and then he called him a pedo, and then his millions of followers harassed the guy for a very long time. Like, it's his behavior.
He also tried to harass a girl and then offer her a horse, I think.
Yeah. I think he actually. I think if I'm not mistaken, he showed her his dick or something. It was bad. But he tried to
That
buy
is
her a
harassment.
horse. Tried to buy her a horse though.
People mad at him. That's an emperor level. And so a lot of dudes are out there gunning to be emperors and kings. Like my mentor Joel Salatin said, be careful what you wish for, because the worst thing is to grow old and realize you got good at the wrong thing. Some people are out here trying to become men, trying to become kings.
I'm sorry, your mentor did not make up be careful what you wish for.
Money, all this at the very top. And then when you get there, you're like Mark Zuckerberg. Public record is he spent $32 million on personal security last year. What kind of life are you? That means you have credible threats against your kids, kidnapping. You're dropping $2.5 million on security. You want to be that guy? You want to be the prince. The prince. I live in Copenhagen. There's dudes there, Scandinavia, Sweden.
There is no way that if this dude had the opportunity to have Mark Zuckerberg's wealth, that he wouldn't take it. There's zero chance. 0%.
Right. I don't know any of this guy's story, but people were like, "Oh, you fell down, you fell down, you fell down." I bet he had a bunch of money in crypto.
Possibly.
That's based on the timing that I think he's saying that all this, like the time frame here. If everybody's like, "Oh, you fell off with your net worth," it was probably he didn't sell when he should have sold.
Clubs, restaurants, little online businesses. These guys are living the life that Elon Musk or whoever you want to say, if they saw that guy's lifestyle, they're like, I'd trade for that.
Yeah. A couple of things from that I want to dissect. First of all, how do you have the bandwidth to be able to pull quotes from so many different people, to be able to remember things from books? Because I read.
Wait, what the shit? No.
What did he remember?
He probably
didn't remember anything.
He probably has like 20 or 30 go-tos, right?
He barely remembered like 2 authors.
But like this stuff right here, this is like he's probably got like 20 or 30 go-to quotes. I bet like 1 in 5 of them isn't even like who it's supposedly ascribed to. Like, you know how everything gets ascribed to Mark Twain and fucking and who's the other one? I forget. There's somebody else that everything gets like ascribed to, and it's not even them.
Right?
Yeah.
But I cannot quote like you can quote. I cannot dissect books in the same way that you can dissect them. Is it just like getting your reps in? Doesn't your brain have a capacity for these?
Sir, I would bet my bet's on the young guy with the hat if we put these two in a book report competition. Because this dude would read the one book while not reading 2 other books, and read it slow enough that he could absorb the information.
Yep.
These things.
Maybe it's a weird superpower. It's like everything. Dr. Bus is always like, almost everything good is.
You answer that with a quote.
That's because I think you should answer with quotes, because when I hear people talk and they only say their own ideas, first off, there's nothing new under the sun. So it's actually not their idea. And they're not giving credit.
He hates that because the kind of people who like say what they mean and mean what they say and aren't quoting people all the time probably think this guy's full of shit and don't want to hang out with him.
And they're really right. Imagine that.
Or they're like the kind of person who'd be like, "I'm not sure Mark Twain said that, friendo." Sir, that wasn't Morgan Freeman, sir. I'm sorry.
When I listen to most of the internet, is dudes regurgitating other dudes' ideas, but not giving them credit. So for me, I'm like, people give me a hard time. I'm like, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. At best in your life, you'll have 3 creative new ideas to bring out on earth. How about Albert Einstein? We remember E equals MC squared. Maybe the smartest man ever. Stephen Hawking, people don't even remember anything. So I don't think it's possible for me. I'm not as high narcissist as people think. And one of the narcissistic 7 subsets of narcissism is self-sufficiency. So I don't see myself as a self-sufficient smart guy. I see myself as a guy who maybe has a weird superpower, being able to remember a lot of people's ideas and synthesize them into new ideas that apply for 2023.
Okay, so you also mentioned...
Didn't he just say that there was like nothing was new?
It's wild. This guy just told us that he's not a narcissistic. And I mean, that's a bit of a medical diagnosis, but he's not talking about it in like the narcissistic personality disorder definition, right? He's talking about it like colloquially, like how we would describe other people that we know maybe is a little bit narcissistic sometimes. Mm-hmm. And that's interesting.
And then describing his quote superpower unquote.
Like encountering Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And also yesterday when you were talking and I was listening, you brought up Elon Musk again.
Yeah.
How many times have you like ran into Elon Musk?
So that fireside chat was not a real one-on-one, but the first time I kind of really talked to him, it started in 2014. I think he had moved, I don't remember his story, but he had moved or spending more time in Hollywood. He's a real socialite dude. Mm-hmm. You see that new book came out?
No. What happened was he wanted to be a Hollywood socialite and they didn't like him. And so then he decided to be friends with Cat Turd 2 instead. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
It's the Elon biography. It just came out a week or 2 ago. He really likes the social status. So when I started rising, I'd go to all the king events. Like I'd get invited to Academy Awards. I get invited to Game of Thrones premiere with all the actors. So you always see him there.
Game of Thrones is a TV show.
Me and Dolph Lundgren. I don't know if you know who that is, but Rocky IV, the famous actor, the Drago. I went to the Coen brothers. They're very famous directors. Get invited to movies. And
I like how he went to the Coen brothers. Like, I know who the Coen brothers are, and I'm not even into movies, but he's like, he had to make sure everybody knew that they're very famous directors.
Is next to Elon Musk. Oh, yeah.
Like, what would you talk to him about? So
I would not say I know him at an incredibly high level, but I've had a 25-minute one-on-one conversation with him, just me and him. I would say he's like, he appears, he's very sharp, opinionated, strong. Look, he reminds me of all the
This guy's not going to say funny or interesting or engaging. The things that you might want to be at a Hollywood party. I'd be more likely to fucking be popular at a Hollywood party than Elon Musk, and I'm fucking nobody. But I mean, I got jokes and shit, you know.
If no one knew either of your net worth, absolutely, you'd be right.
Billionaires I know have one,
but there will always be suck-ups who just want to be close to Elon for his money.
I'm in business with 2 guys on the Forbes list. I've done business with 4. I mean, I know 4 of them. They're tough. You know, I call them the warlords. The top of the Forbes list is a whole bunch of warlords. They're not saints. They're warlords. And sometimes they're creative warlords and maybe they're important for society. But he's a powerful guy that has strong opinions. And like the longest conversation, he goes, we had met a week before, and then I was at the Game of Thrones. It's on my Instagram. It's an interesting little video, one of the ones with me and him. And he said to me, do you think I should use Snapchat to grow Tesla? This is 2016 when Snap was kind of new and Tesla was on the rise, really on the rise.
That means he doesn't give a shit about you and was like, I got to talk to this guy, I guess. Here, I'm going to ask him about Snapchat and Tesla, whatever. I mean, I don't like Elon Musk or whatever, but that's not really a question that you ask somebody whose opinion you value. I don't think
I said, yeah. And I gave like a 10-minute explanation why. And at the end, he just shot me down. He's like, I think you're wrong. And not in a mean way. He's just like, I think you're wrong. He's like, good products sell on their own. They go viral through word of mouth. I used to tell a story for you.
So he did that just to neg you? Elon's a dick.
I'm cool with Elon being a dick to this guy, though.
Right. It's like this guy isn't even really my enemy. The person who annoys the person who annoys me is still annoying, but at least it's cool.
It shut me down. But I think I was right, if I might be so bold, because a couple years later, he bought Twitter X. Not only,
but that's a different product, and he bought it. He bought it because he got rejected essentially by like Hollywood. They didn't like him, and so he bought Twitter to get back at them and make friends with Cat Turd.
So, according to this story, Elon asked him, "Hey, should I promote Tesla on Snapchat?" And he was like, "Yeah." And Elon was like, "I think you're wrong." And now he's saying, "I'm right," because several years later, Elon bought Twitter.
And not Snapchat.
Sorry, what? How does any of that follow?
I think this guy got a selfie with Elon, and that might have been Grimes. It might have been somebody else at the time, and fabricated the rest of this. How is this guy like not just like a Hollywood gossip? Is that what he got famous for? I mean, whatever.
did he see the value? And only then did he become the richest man in the world. The true emperors.
No, he was the richest man in the world. Then he bought Twitter. Now he's not the richest man in the world. His net worth has plummeted from all the mistakes he's made at Twitter.
Twitter X, you have the power to become the first trillionaire, which Elon has the power. Now, it doesn't mean he wouldn't.
No, he would have been it would have been much easier for him to become a trillionaire had he not purchased Twitter. In fact, had he never joined Twitter and never wild out and said all the crazy things that he says on Twitter that gets the Securities and Exchange Commission up his ass all the time. Like,
yep.
Successful without it, but he realized. Like,
also, God, can you imagine how fucking broken our society is if someone becomes a trillionaire?
His Twitter. Every time he posts, I see 2 to 20 million views on one tweet.
Yeah.
He posts 5 times, 10 times a day. That's 200 million people. That's a continent.
No, that's the same people viewing it over and over again. You fucking idiot. What do you think? A brand new crop of people views the next tweet because come on, dude. And also, like, a non-insignificant number of his followers are bots. Like, yo.
Reach a day. I've had conversations with him. He's sharp, strong opinions. And if you read that new Isaac's book, but I do know one thing. He and I love books. And
Elon hasn't read a book in 5 years. Shut the fuck up.
Whenever I've gotten
5, I think you're being generous.
I'm like, I don't know. I was at the HBO. This is the one on my Instagram. I was on the HBO after party. And I have a friend. I tell everybody, I
have a friend. I tell everyone that I have a friend and they believe me.
As people think. I have this guy, James Swanick. He is the best network on earth. So we're at this HBO thing and Elon is right across. And I said, James, go intro us. Let's go intro to Elon.
But you said you already met him.
He's Australian. He's like, James, how you been? He always confuses people by not saying, I'd like to meet you. And then Elon's kind of like trying to figure out, do I already know this guy? He's like, James, good to meet you. Good to see you. That's what he says.
Yeah.
I always tell him, you on a network? You go up, say, good to see you. Don't say good to see you again, because that's a lie. If he'd never met Elon before, but it's good to see you. And then they're thrown off because they're like, maybe I saw this guy yesterday. But he said, God, we wanted to ask you a question. So I came over and I said, Elon, what's your favorite?
That's actually a really good tactic when you're meeting someone. Try to confuse them.
Right. Call them by a name that isn't theirs.
Yeah. You know what? Just run away, actually. It'll really confuse them. Then I don't know.
Maybe grab their hand and see if they'll skip down the hallway with you.
Never heard. I think it was he got back maybe with his wife, Tallulah or something. And his wife pulls him away. They were leaving. And he was talking about, I like books, but he was thinking on it. I said, what book do you like the most? He pulls away. He loved books so much. I watched him walk 20 feet, pull apart from his girl, and come back to tell me the answer. He goes,
that's because he asked her, he's like, what's the name of an interesting book? I need to seem interesting. What's the name of an interesting book? Do you know the name of an interesting book?
I said, why? He said, to walk 20 feet, pull apart from his girl and come back to tell me the answer. He goes, Lord of the Rings. I said, why? He said, because it shows that you should do something even if you might fail.
Really? Like, really?
Okay, so I think that this is probably true because how you couldn't make that up.
That is like the dumbest answer. Okay, yeah, I believe it.
Answer.
Yeah, that one's on my Insta. You got to go back to 2016.
What's your favorite book? Why, if you don't mind me asking? Lord of the Rings. If something's important enough, Bill. Awesome.
So Elon
Wait, that was really edited.
has a streak of profound.
What's your favorite book? Why, if you don't mind me asking? Lord of the Rings. If something's important enough, Bill. Awesome.
So Elon has he has a
They edited that together in a very odd way.
streak of profoundness to him, coupled with extreme high risk taker. Like, you know.
And you find that among most billionaires then, right?
Yes. I always say I think there's 5 actual scientifically validated wealth traits, personality-wise. Number 1, 75% plus of
Is the zip code you were born into?
made billionaires were born to wealthy parents. But
He fucking okay, cool. Thank you.
or well above average. But that does not mean their parents gave them the money. The way I interpret
Usually it does.
No, it doesn't. I mean, some of the time it does. Some of the time they got a small loan.
Yeah. Donald Trump got a small loan of $1 million. Jeff Bezos got a small loan of $300,000. Yeah.
And the other thing is, it means that if your parents are wealthy, it means that if you fall on your face, you don't really fall on your face.
Yeah, exactly.
Or even if your
It's
brother,
like, you know
or
what?
your
I'm going to go spend my parents' money, and if I fail, I'll just live back at their mansion again.
or even if you have a sister or a brother who maybe just won the lottery, now you're going to be less risk averse too, right?
Probably. Yep.
genetics. Because genetics people don't like to talk about. But you can inherit warlord genes. Bill Gates' father was the most wealthy lawyer, I think, in his state. I think he was born in Washington State. So 75% of people of warlords, as I call them, the billionaires, are born.
Oh God, this is finance phrenology.
Warlords give birth to warlords. There's a good book on this called The Self-Made Billionaire Effect. It's kind of a scientifically validated book. So you got genes. You could say inherited money, but I think it's genes. Number 2.
No, it's money.
Did you see the subtitle on that book? How extreme producers create massive value.
Book. So you got genes.
Billionaires are not producers. They are extractors. They extract value from the working class.
Also, this is 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
I think it's genes. Number 2, extreme levels of energy. They call it hypomania. If you read the story of people who succeed, they don't get tired. They need to sleep 8 hours. But when
Hypomania,
wait.
wouldn't that mean like lower than mania?
Well, then they get
Like lack of mania?
He's saying they don't get tired, but it's just that in their biography, they don't ever tell you about the one time they were really tired and needed a nap. Like that doesn't get into the biography. That's not that
literally
interesting.
everyone gets tired.
I have hypomania. I'm not as successful as Elon Musk, but my cousin, when she read that scientific report, she's like, oh, you got that hypomania. So I tell people, get your fucking energy up. It's hard. If your goal is to be a warlord, you better be
But isn't that just motivation? Like, if you're motivated, you find the energy, I found.
Yes, but I do think people have, it's kind of like black guys. 10% of black men, African Americans specifically, have what's called the super gene.
Oh, no.
People
Getting
have
weird.
It's kind of like black guys. 10% of black men, African Americans specifically, have what's called the super gene. The super gene is the ability to put on muscle without fat. Only 1% of Caucasians have it. That's why I always tell people, if you want to be a personal brand, you better get with it, because the whole world is coming. 300,000 new people approximately come online for the first time per day. A lot of that's in Africa. And if you're a personal trainer in America, these personal trainer dudes are coming out of Africa. I train with one of these guys. They have these insane genetics. I mean, they was like, shh. So I think so that's a physical super gene around putting on muscle mass without fat.
Yeah.
I think there are people born with an energy level.
But before we get into that, here's my girl reviews to get
High quality.
I think he cut it off right before he was going to say something racist.
All
started. Once again, free wire hypomania, or is it mostly genetic?
I think most things science is going to end up, it's like 70%, 60-70% genetic, but you can alter it. I mean, people don't fucking sleep in America.
But wait a minute. Why did he just said, oh, things are 60-70% genetic? This is some bell curve shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gotta sleep. Einstein said he needed 11 to 12 hours a day. So I use this Aura ring. I built this system called 150 Body. I first built it for myself. Now I kind of share it with
he's got like he's like this mood ring really helps me out here.
Try to get 150 minutes of deep sleep.
So that's like a smart ring. It like tracks your heart rate all day.
Oh. Okay. That's fair enough. I thought it was like some fucking shit that he was selling that like fucking like
I wouldn't put it past him.
In order to track their deep, you have REM
we've been
cycles.
doing that. Yeah.
Dudes ain't getting, I meet people getting 40 minutes of deep sleep. It's almost impossible. The mind resets and rejuvenates during sleep. So
yeah, Zadikin chat, you're right. He already did say something racist.
Not as fucked up as their deep sleep.
Something even more racist,
You gotta
I
make
should
your
have said.
room cold. You have to make your room dark. You got to put on blue blockers and I call it, decompress 2 hours before you sleep. I put in wax, these wax earplugs. So like when I'm in Vegas here, I can seal it. Like some dude could be partying next door. I hear nothing, and I go to my farm a lot. It's better feng shui, but also
farm has better feng shui.
Too much Wi-Fi. I live in Manhattan in a big high rise in Billionaire Row. It's called. Didn't sleep good once for a year. You're in a building with you turn on your Wi-Fi, is like 60 Wi-Fis in your room. There's no way in 100 years that won't affect us. EMF stuff, all that stuff.
But
oh no,
there is absolutely a way that will not affect us. It's literally like non-ionizing radiation.
Yeah, there's a lot
will not affect us.
There's a lot of information about this out there. Might some of it be wrong? Sure, I suppose so, but seems okay.
Like if you were sitting in a room, like in the same room that was like sealed, a big metal room that was sealed with about 2,000 wireless routers, which comes out at 0.5 what is it? 0.5 watts. That would be and 2,000 routers, you're at 1,000 watts. That is the energy output of a microwave. So that would heat you up.
Billionaire upbringings.
It would make you uncomfortably hot.
Yes, EMF stuff, all that stuff.
But for billionaire upbringings in terms of genetics,
yes,
wouldn't it be instead?
But keep in mind also, a microwave is like 1 cubic foot. Your room is like many, many, many more cubic feet than that. So it would make you uncomfortably hot, but it wouldn't cook you.
In 100 years, that won't affect us. EMF stuff, all that stuff.
But for billionaire upbringings in terms of genetics,
yes,
wouldn't it be instead of genetics, maybe upbringing? Like having highly motivated parents, watching that, feeling the need to live up to that, high standards, maybe a better education.
Right.
So I feel like all of those would play a bigger factor than just genetics.
That's what the world thinks now. I think our grandkids will think we were wrong. And
oh dear, they were trying to be like, let's reel this in a little bit because this is getting into some phrenology, skull measuring territory here, and we're trying to pretend that we're not in this, we're not like this, right? And the guy's like, nope. Our grandkids are going to figure out that we're wrong, that it's all just good genes, and that's why I'm rich.
And the reason is they're doing a lot of twin studies. They've been doing them. You take identical twins, essentially have the same genes. Let's say in this scenario, born to rich parents, one kid's taken and raised in utter poverty. My dad was born in Spanish Harlem. It was very poor. You take that kid, and then you take the kid born to the wealthy parents who's raised by his billionaire dad. These kids will have very similar outcomes. 100% similar outcomes? No, but shockingly similar. This will be the.
I mean, I don't
think that's true.
I don't expect people to have the name of the study on hand, but I think studies show the opposite. I think generally it shows the opposite.
I'm pretty positive that is absolutely not true. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I don't know where he's getting this information from. I think he's just assuming, which is making an ass out of him only because we're not buying it.
Out of the ghetto and becomes a billionaire. Now, people are going to argue with me this, but you got to look at twin studies. It's tremendous. They used to think...
I don't think this guy's looking at twin studies.
Like 40 to 50% genetic. I was just reading the newest textbook. It's by the guy who invented the hexaco score. I'll try to give it to you for the show notes. That I forget the name of the textbook. It's like personality. Now that there's more DNA type decoding the genome, already it's up to 65%, they think, of your life outcomes genetic. Now, there are...
But that's just according to one guy who wrote a textbook that you like. And I don't know what he means when he says textbook. Like, is it being used in academia or is it just thick? And he's like, well, this must be a textbook.
Things that are more genetic than others. IQ is extremely heritable. It's called heritability. It's like 0.78. Height is about the same. But other things like narcissism is almost the same heritability.
Yep, he's in the fucking bell curve. It's like the heritability of IQ.
Quick to anger.
Fun fact about height, it is very affected by the nutrition you receive as a kid. So is IQ.
Determination, persistence.
Shit, your result on an IQ test might be heavily determined by the amount of nutrition you had for breakfast that day.
Mm-hmm.
If you skip breakfast, you're probably gonna, and you're hungry, you might not score as well.
It's called conscientiousness. All these things are...
Is that genetic, though? Because couldn't you see parents acting in certain ways? Let's say anger.
Yes.
You see your parents blowing up over things, over nothing.
Yes.
And then you learn and internalize, that's how I should be expressing my anger or frustration.
Before we decoded the genome.
Okay.
And then you separate a kid who grows up to angry parents. They never see their parents get angry. They grow up in a happy family, and they're always have the temper. You see that in animals. You know, I think where we humans go wrong.
I'm pretty sure that is also not true. Like, I know some adopted friends that act just like their adoptive parents.
Well, but that's just like like what I'm saying. Like I don't.
Sure, that's also anecdotal, but
but what I'm saying is his isn't even anecdotal. I think he's just making it up.
Yeah, like I just don't buy this. I don't know what he's talking about. He's not citing any studies. He's just talking out of his ass.
Well, I mean, you're. The other thing we talk about here a lot is that people will Brett and Heather were real good at this at just citing one study that agrees with them, but then it would like later
He's
be
not
debunked.
citing any studies.
But which is worse?
That's a good point. Yeah,
Homo sapien.
One bad study or zero studies.
Inherently to be a narcissist, because we don't realize that we're 50% the same genes as a banana, 70% the same genes as a housefly, 98% same genetically as a chimpanzee. We ain't that different. And so on my farm, if you read a textbook on like cattle, for example, you can...
How much of the same genes does Dan Badandi have as a potato?
Breed meaner cows or
probably about 50%.
A Rottweiler, pit bull. Pit bulls are the just genetic breeding. For a long time, the Roman Empire, they'd raise dogs. They'd look at,
but maybe
puppies,
closer to 100% in his case.
They'd kill all the rest. They did that hundreds and hundreds of times. The mom, the dad, and they took the mean dad, bred him over and over to 100, 200. Most border collie dogs, which is the highest IQ dog, they're all...
Wait, how did you give a dog an IQ test?
Yeah, dogs can't take IQ tests.
If they could, maybe Charles Murray would have written about them instead and not done so much damage to the fucking world.
Dog from the...
I don't think he meant IQ.
Whiston Cap. Every single...
How do you remember that?
I used to raise...
Yo, it's because this guy has like 20, 25 quotes that he always uses. How do you remember that? It's one of them in the fucking bank. It's you know, he probably uses that, whatever he just said there, he probably uses it over and over and over again. It's just these interviews with him are like 2.5, probably 3 hours long. And so to go find that is going to be pretty hard.
That's like me with Clone High references. If Clone High references were impressive, God, fucking everyone would be impressed with me.
Yeah, if remembering what happened in the television masterpiece Burn Notice was impressive, I would be a genius.
Oh, and Office references too.
I lived on a farm. I used to train him in New Zealand. Whiston Cat. Look it up. WISTO.
Whoa, that's a lot of pixels. That dog has a low PQ, pixel quotient.
You know what it needs is more JPEG artifacts.
He's from Wales. Every pro dog trainer would fly their females to get to breed with Whiston. He's like 95% of border collie. And what dog has the highest IQ? Border collies.
He keeps saying IQ. Fucking whatever.
Yeah.
Of course, this guy thinks dogs have an IQ score. Fuck it.
Dog responsible for 95% of all bites. There's like 2 breeds. That's genes, man. You could find a super dumb border collie. You could find a super nice Rottweiler, but the genetics are spitting out one ancestor.
So then what do you say to the people that have pit bulls and they say, no, this is friendly dog, would never hurt a soul?
There's truth to that, but still, people lie, but numbers don't.
He's like, I don't know. Is that person rich? Do I have to kiss their ass?
Dog bites are like 2 breeds. And it's just genes.
Isn't it pit bulls and chihuahuas?
That's not
like
true, though. It's that, like, the pit bull, when it does bite, can do a lot more damage than a chihuahua.
Right.
Like, you're probably not going to go to the hospital if a dachshund bites you on the ankle, but if a pit bull bites you on the leg, you're going to be at least urgent care.
But nobody died from a chihuahua.
I know, but I'm talking about like dog attacks.
Yes.
I feel like chihuahuas are like
chihuahua
number
for
one.
sure. Chihuahua attacks all things.
Okay, yeah, he's bringing up the exact same point.
Not big enough to break the
Right.
skin. Yeah, I
Well,
had
it's the owners that think they're cute. It's like, oh
Yeah.
no, it's adorable. He's nipping at your leg.
I read somewhere. So one of those dogs was like the emperors of China. It wasn't. It was a similar breed that the emperor used to tell if somebody was coming in to kill them. They would put them on their bed to sleep. And anybody who came in, a little yippee yip, damn chihuahua. It wasn't a chihuahua. What was the one? It was the Chinese Empire. But by the way, talking about dogs and having people break into my house and genetics, when I first started having problems, even before that guy broke in, I'd have people at my door. People get arrested outside for not leaving, trying to break into my place and talk to me. Beverly Hills police chief came and had lunch with me. He's like, listen, get a dog. He's like, we found houses with a dog barking. It's half as likely to get, broken into. So I'm like, okay. He's like, I said, what kind of dog? He's like, it doesn't matter. Just one that barks. Because people can't see it, right? So me trying to be all scientific, I'm like, I'm going to get, what's the best dog? Google's like, trained German Shepherds from Germany. So
okay.
German Shepherd from this dude. It was like the best genes. He gave me the
Those
papers.
are how much was that dog? Like
They were
70
expensive
grand?
enough that I flew them down on a private jet. I took a jet to go get them and came back down. They're expensive. Yeah, it's like 100 G's for 2 dogs.
If you don't
like,
want your house getting broken into, what you really should get is a horse, because no one's going to break into a house with a horse neighing in it.
So I bet what happened too is the guy's like, oh, my usual dogs are 22 grand, but I have a special one for you that's 250 grand. That's what I do, right?
Probably.
Because this guy probably leads with, I'm rich and I need a dog. And the guy's like, oh, I got you.
The problem was, as the years progressed, these dogs started getting out of control, and one finally took out the FedEx man. It was I didn't get sued, thank God. The guy was nice. So basically, that's the gate.
Took out the FedEx man?
Yeah.
So this guy probably got these dogs that were like trained attack dogs or whatever, and then didn't have them go through any other like sort of training, or didn't like try to socialize them, right?
Yeah.
He's like,
I imagine that is correct.
These are the best dogs. They have the best genes. They'll leave the FedEx guy alone.
And I always told my staff when they left, close that damn door, because I got the dogs. And one of my new staff left and kind of cracked it open. Oh. So the FedEx guy was a new FedEx guy. He just opened it, walked in. I mean, I would have liked to see that dude's face. These 2 German Shepherds just...
Wait, why did the FedEx guy walk into your house?
Bit him in the arms. And then I
think he meant a gate.
Farm.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Whoa, when he says he sent him to his farm, does he mean...
Like a farm upstate.
Yeah.
Yes, guy.
No, I didn't say FedEx guy.
Yeah, I thought that FedEx guy. I sent him to the farm.
Yeah, I sent him to, no, he didn't die, but he was nice enough to not sue. I was like, maybe the law is if you walk in without that. Maybe that's why he didn't.
He
sue,
shouldn't have been nice enough to not
He had a sign that
sue.
says,
He
"We
should
think
have
his
sued you,
employees
guy.
Be covering
Yeah.
any workplace
Yeah, he
incidents.
didn't.
Though,
It broke the skin. It was just more scared to shit. He was down on the ground, and luckily we could see, and we ran out there right away.
yeah, but see, those dogs are not trained to kill. They're trained to
Yes.
just subdue the person
Yes.
until somebody
But
arrives.
they'll break your arm.
Yeah.
They grab the arm and like yank it around. And they knew German. So you had to do is like all the German attack and it's pretty Achtung or whatever you're supposed to say to these Germans.
Yeah.
So then I sent him
Oh, so he didn't even know what he's supposed to say to the dog. He has no idea. Like this he's describing irresponsible dog ownership.
Yes, he bought attack dogs, didn't know what he was doing with them, and they attacked the FedEx guy. So yeah, he is completely irresponsible. Okay.
problematic on the farm. They started hunting the neighbor's sheep and cows.
With those dogs, though, I heard you also have to
Wait,
train
now the
them.
dogs, set them on his farm and the dogs are out there fucking killing the neighbors' sheeps and cows and shit. Yo, dude. Yo, dude. What the fuck? Couldn't you have got just like a fucking, like a golden retriever that just barks whenever anybody comes to the door? Like,
every year, it's every other year for like a few weeks at a time.
Well, that's why I had
it's
that
like,
Navy SEAL security guy. That's how he kept from being bored. From 8 at night to 8 in the morning, he would walk my house till people started coming, and he would just walk with the dogs and train them all the time. But that time was in the day, he wasn't there, and they took down the FedEx guy. And that was my farm neighbors were like, "Bro, I'm gonna blast your dogs," because I
fuck yeah. Critical support to his farm neighbors who are like, you got to do something about your dogs. They're killing my sheep, or I'm going to do something about your dogs.
It's not the dog's fault. It's fucking his fault. He should be the one getting blasted by the neighbor.
Well, I mean, the laws are a little more severe for that, and the people at the farm
They
probably know that.
Yeah.
and they started hunting. They're just bred to hunt.
yeah.
Bred to hunt. And so just like dogs, like we are also mammals like dogs. So going back to what it takes to be successful at the upper echelon, the stats are there, and we can argue it's nature, nurture, causation, correlation, but I think it's going to be more genes than you think.
So
let's talk more about genes, but we need to finish the three.
I mean, it sounds like those dogs were trained to attack people. What the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Like he literally bought dogs specifically that were trained to attack people.
Which is, I don't think assuming this conversation he had with the police chief or whatever was correct, right? The police chief didn't tell him to get attack dogs. He just said, get a dog that barks.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's like, I need a dog whose genes make it speak German.
Right? An attack dog is like, why would you do that? Like, even like just if you have guests, and the dog gets confused and hurts one of your guests and stuff, just get a fucking.
I know why you do it. He's a fucking moron. That's why he
he's
did it.
crazy. I think he's fucking cuckoo birds, right? I think he wanted him because they made him. I think he got him because they made him. I think he got him because they made him feel powerful.
Probably, yeah.
So his
But
genes,
he didn't stop himself from getting them because he's a dumbass.
high level of hypomania energy. The third thing is almost 75% of self-made billionaires were in direct sales early.
There's no such thing as a self-made billionaire.
Garbage bags door to
You
door.
cannot produce enough to make $1 billion.
Steve
Period.
Jobs.
I think what he means is someone who did not inherit most of their money. I don't.
Okay, that's still not a self-made billionaire.
Right. I'm just telling you. I think that's what he means.
I also don't think that exists. Name one billionaire who didn't start off at least somewhat wealthy.
Sure.
He was like, as a teenager almost, going, when he was starting Apple, him and Wozniak, he was going to Hewlett Packard guy, forget the guy, knocking on his door like, will you help me grow my brand? Elon Musk, if you read one of the autobiographies, previous one, or biographies, he's talking about every night at 9 p.m., he would call all the sales managers in the entire United States and help them sell, teach them how to sell, because he knew the importance of
At
selling.
9 p.m., if he's on the West Coast, that's midnight for his people on the East Coast, and you should leave them the fuck alone.
It's at age 16, 17, 18, was on the phone selling computer stuff. He would lower his voice so they couldn't realize he was a teen. Like, oh, this is William Gates. And he was doing phone sales. Jeff Bezos, before starting Amazon, was working as an investment banker. Investment banker is a fancy word for a Wall Street sales guy. I work with investment bankers. The good ones are salespeople. That's why sometimes people, I was one of the big network marketing guys came to my seminar yesterday. I've never done network marketing.
Investment banker is basically just a door-to-door salesman.
Network marketing.
That's why that's impressive.
Network marketing. Do you know what that means?
Network marketing is the multi-level marketing companies,
a pyramid
right?
scheme.
Yeah.
But they're not allowed to call it a pyramid scheme because that makes it illegal.
I think I probably should have, but a lot of people say it's scam. I'm like, I think it's good, man. You got to pay $300 to be multi-network marketing plans. You're probably not going to be a millionaire from it, so forget that. But at worst, you learn direct sales.
You're probably not going to make money from it. You will probably lose money.
You'll probably lose all of that $300 you gave just for the privilege of giving them more money to buy shit that nobody's going to buy from you.
Yeah, most people who go into these lose money.
And they don't just lose their fucking application fee.
I call it the king of all skills. The king and queen is sales, direct sales, and marketing. These billionaire guys are great negotiators. They're tough negotiators. That's sales, man. They're
It's also getting along with people, different personality types, and knowing which ones to, where to push, where to pull.
Yes, push where. But I was going to throw the next one that Dr. Bust taught me is low agreeableness. All the warlords are. It's weird, but in
this is some Jordan Peterson shit too, right here.
They're fucking hard to negotiate with. My millionaire friends, you can be like, you know what? Let's do a deal that's fair for both of us. Oh, not a billionaire. He's gonna.
You know the biggest trait of billionaires?
Go ahead.
Right place, right time. Luck.
Ass penny out of you. There's a story of J.D. Rockefeller, the richest man in modern history, $600 billion net worth. He would be sitting there doing a
wait. No, he was never worth $600 billion. J.D. Rockefeller.
I mean, you'd be like,
maybe he's adjusting for inflation.
Minute, he'd be like, you know what? I got a better deal for you. And he was so quick with math in his head. He changed the terms, the amortization schedule, changed the interest rate, make it seem like the other guy was getting a better deal. And he was switching the deal to his favor. Make no mistake. One of my friends, 5 guys built online porn. They started Pornhub. 5 Montreal, Quebec, Canada guys. And I know
5 guys built online porn.
And one of them told me a long time ago, we were just talking about business. He's like, Ty, all empires are built by blood, sweat, and violence. So most of the dudes on the Forbes list, there's a body buried probably outside of a casino here somewhere. Everybody,
that's a crazy thing to think.
Is looking at us like, which is the most virtuous Forbes list people? I'm like,
although Ronald McDonald does have a high body count, he just didn't do the dirty work himself.
This is Genghis Khan work, guys, man. This is Attila the Hun. So yes, I agree with you that billionaires know how to be chameleons and change their persona, but deep down they're low agreeableness. They will fucking, you better read a contract sent to you by a billionaire. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You better not celebrate because they shook hands with you and said, we're gonna do the deal that way. They will change the deal 5 seconds before it's over. I'm dealing with one of that right now.
Well, that's fraud.
With a dude.
That is what Musk tried to do, but they forced him to do the deal as he signed it, and
well,
it really did not work out for him.
Well, but he got it for 54.20 a share. You know, 420. That's he's hip. Interesting.
I won't say which guy.
With Ben Shapiro, you told the audience that they should go to tylopez.com/quiz.
Yes.
And that all business partners or even romantic relationships should take the quiz and compare it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like Scientology's personality test.
Yeah. The first time ever.
I should see it.
We want to show it to you,
yes.
but we're not going to tell you which one is ours. Okay. We want to see if you could guess.
Oh, I can guess.
I'm going to have Jackie show them both.
Let me preface it with this. I have a hard time answering questions about my personality.
Yes.
Because I feel like it's always changing and how I feel about certain things, especially if it's just A or B.
Yeah.
You know what
That's why these tests are stupid, actually. This guy, without knowing it, just explained why these tests are fucking stupid.
Yep.
specific rather than more broad? Because these are very broad questions.
Yes,
it's hard. Was that hard for you, Graham?
There were some questions that I didn't know how to answer because I felt neither one was like that strong when it was either or.
Carl Jung would have probably said you're more of a J and you're more of a P. J is
if you were in a situation, would you make a decision? Yes or no?
Also, Carl Jung is the Jordy Pete's favorite philosopher here.
So judging
or favorite psychologist or whatever.
They have a hard time working in uncertainty. So the fact you told me that tells me a lot about your personality.
You're
right
giving
now. It's
it
not
away,
good or bad.
Jack. You're giving it
It's
away.
not good. This test was not the Myers-Briggs. Myers-Briggs is less accurate. 16 personalities that everybody's taking. It's not the best.
So how did you come up with this?
So this, I have multiple quizzes on Life Compass. I got a new one out called on 12types.com. But this one is a compilation of the most scientifically validated, which is Hexaco,
the Scientology personality test, Jordan Peterson's personality test, and the test that you have to take before you go work at Target.
PI, Mach 4, kind of blended. It's better than the Jungian 16 personalities, Myers-Briggs. It's better than the Big Five. So these are all my Harvard guys. So yeah. Okay.
So I don't know which one Jack shows you first.
Which one of you loves money the most?
Is that going to give it away?
It's just a question. I don't know you all well enough.
Should I answer it or no?
I think
we'll answer if you want us to answer.
No,
we'll answer it. Yeah.
Can I see both? Then I have.
That's the other one. You just swipe.
I think this one is you. The second one I think is you. Could be wrong.
Why does his personality test look like the fucking nutritional information on a bottle of Coke?
Scored relatively similar. First all, neither one of you are psychopathic.
Good. That was a close one.
That's exactly what a psychopath would want you to believe.
This one's you.
Which one is that? Let me see.
I don't know you all well enough, but I think this one's you.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yeah.
You're correct.
Yeah. I think you have a little. I think you like money more. Then I think you're a little more money motivated. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
That was literally just a
Okay, we're seeing the
50-50
quiz.
guess.
What gave it away in that?
Your response to money. Neither one of you are ridiculously greedy.
Nothing gave it away. Did you hear him? He was like, I can't tell. I think this one's you. Is this one you? Nothing gave it away. That was literally just a guess.
Or a cynic might even think that they told him beforehand, right?
Possibly.
Were you bullied? Who was bullied more? I think you were bullied more.
I was not really bullied.
Authoritative parents? Authoritarian?
No, I don't like authority, but I've never had an instance.
You don't like authority?
Not really. I'd say my only experience with authority is through school. I just hated being told what to do in school.
he hates being
Man, two swings and
So
two
when I
misses.
say bullying, so the definition.
Yeah.
So when you get high you got relatively high Machiavellian. That's 61.
Oh, yeah. We can move the
Slightly more
goalpost.
cynical view, but you both are you got a 57, 61. So you guys are a little bit cynical about the world. Technically, Machiavellian, the beginning of clinical mental instability is a 60. So you got 57 and you got 61. So you both share a slightly cynical view, which, by the way, you're kind of journalists. You're
You're kind of journalists.
new quiz.
Yes, if they sat here and like nodded along while you said crazy shit, that's journalism.
.com is more hormonal based. You're both.
Well, he said kind of journalist.
.com is more less podcast. So my new quiz 12types.com is more hormonal based. You're
More hormonally based.
both a little bit.
I wonder what the .com for his new test
You both
is.
have a little bit of high cortisol. You have much higher anxiety. Than you overthink things more than you. So you're more of what I call a defender. You have a defender type personality.
That's very accurate.
Yes.
When you place it, I was looking through that, not fully understanding what it
That is really accurate if you
talk about
forget about the first two things that he said that were wrong.
one thing, I think I'm the best person in the world at reading people. If there was a damn Olympics, that I could bet $1 million.
But he literally got the first two guesses wrong.
How do you do that?
I've been trained for a long time, and I purposely pick.
This is fucking ridiculous.
Is always like Todd.
This is like literally just like cold reading right now.
Yeah, I remember that John Edward. Remember that guy? He's like somebody in the audience with a J name. Is there somebody with a J
It's like
name?
it's like a j, like a like a p.
Oh, did you? Did somebody? Then he notices that they're like in their late 40s, and is like, did somebody in your family recently die? Maybe they had a J or an S or an M name, like the three most common letters for people's first names.
your son died. I'm picking up that it was like an untimely death, that it wasn't his time to die. Is that
more people as an individual than any psychologist.
Oh my God, yes. How did you know?
100,000 people on Life Compass that I built, that I have the data. I don't look so much at individual people's. I look at like metadata. I've also been trained by Dr. Buss, who has a PhD in psychometrics, which is the study of people. And he's the preeminent living evolutionary psychologist. He wrote all the textbooks for Harvard and Yale. I met him in 2014.
All of them. You wrote all of them. You can't get a textbook by anybody else.
Close. I sometimes talk to him 3-4 times a week. And I have a female mentor named Dr. Helen Fisher, who I've known for probably 7 years.
You called her a female, huh? Ladies, this guy's single.
And chief scientist for Tinder. She has the most data on human relationships of anybody. I mean, imagine controlling Tinder data. I think to be good at anything, you need 30,000 hours of it. The old 10,000 hours kind of archaic. Most chess masters are like
30,000 hours.
So I definitely have 30,000 hours reading people. Usually you need a troubled childhood. It makes you read people. I had a pretty troubled childhood, so I learned
I don't have 30,000 hours of svelte knowledge, and I'm pretty good. Like I don't think svelte was invented 30,000 hours ago. How long is that? 30,000 hours.
I don't know. I don't know. We want to. How long should we get bogged down in this? I think we should. I think we should talk about svelte and how long it's existed. I think that's fantastic.
Okay, that's literally 1,250 days back to back, no sleep.
Craziness, trauma, abuse, and then I think probably I'm naturally interested in it, and then you get the best mentors in the world. And then I've also done the data myself. So I actually, when I go in seminars now around the world, I'll cold read the room. And there's a Norwegian guy doing a documentary. I'm like, I was in London last
He's like, I'm better than John Edward.
I'm like, everyone's going to say I planted the crowd because I read people so close. He was like, what the fuck? So it's all going to come out in this little documentary. But you can learn to read people. Some people are more intuitive.
So I'm curious,
how do you will probably become good at reading people?
How do you tell if someone's full of shit? Because there are some.
Oh, I don't know. Oh no, dude.
Oh boy.
Clearly, you, sir, have not even scratched the surface of that one.
Yep. Let's see. We can start with: are they sitting across the table from you?
We'll get this guy's answer, and then we're going to go ahead and put a fork in this one.
Out there that I've met that I can't put a finger on it. And Jack and I have gone back and forth. I'm like, this guy's full of shit. Yes. I don't believe anything he says. It's not true.
I told you, both defenders threat based.
Yeah, but Jack will say why. And I have a really hard time articulating.
Let's break this down. Okay, because it's not so simple.
It is.
Okay. We have BS detectors, yes. And I would say they both fire at the same time. However, I am more of like I need actual evidence rather than the intuition. Although my intuition is yes, right? And Graham's intuition, yes, it does tend to be correct, as does mine. But I don't like believing something until I have that hard evidence. Yeah. So that's where it ends up.
All right, what are your parents like?
My parents?
Yeah. How did you describe?
He didn't answer the question.
My mom, I would say,
he's not going to answer the question. He's just going to be weird.
More of a disciplinarian, a little bit more anxious, she can read people extremely. She's a kindergarten teacher. So she's done that for like 25 years. So she has every single year a new cycle of 30 kids where you get to analyze, their personalities and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden you see them when they're 25. And she's had that for a very long time. So I'd say she's very good at reading people as well.
Your dad, what's he do?
My dad is extremely easygoing.
What's he do?
All of a sudden you see them when they're 25?
My mom is a kindergarten teacher. Yeah. So my dad, very easygoing.
Your dad, a number guy. He appraises things mathematically.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And you need
structure.
Oh, dude, he's fucking John Edwards. He's a numbers guy. I'm getting numbers. He's an appraiser, a fucking accountant. I'm getting a J. Is he a...
Did he do something with something like a job? Did he have a job? Like something like he worked somewhere for for someone or for himself?
I can't believe he's doing this in the context of being asked how to tell if someone's full of shit. He's like cold reading them.
I know, right?
Like to appraise things, you need.
I would say so.
It's in the genes, baby. It comes in the genes. It's like you go. He needs to appraise the situation with data. It's like, what does your dad do? He uses data to appraise real estate. It's funny how it works out, man. And what does your mom and dad do?
My mom's a therapist. My dad's an animator.
Does your mom have anxiety?
I don't think so. She's pretty
Does she
calm.
overthink, though? Remember, calm
No, you're just wrong this time.
is often super correlated with anxiety.
I don't think so.
Give her my quiz.
Yeah.
Kids read their parents correctly.
Okay.
Funny. And your dad doesn't.
No. Even though I'm wrong, I'm still right. You just don't know.
Yeah, but I'm not going to tell you how to know that somebody's full of shit.
But he seems pretty calm too. If he worries about something, I can't tell. But
I think your dad seems more calm than your mom.
Probably. But I think a lot of it for me came from the sales experience of like being a real estate agent, believing everybody.
Right.
And then getting so many just fake stories that eventually there were maybe some traits that I would pick up on.
Yeah.
Where people would divulge too much information too soon, like they're trying to impress you.
Yes. I tell people, here's the problem with intuition. Women are naturally 30 out of 100 at reading people. Men are naturally 10. I think the people that consider themselves intuitive are like 40s out of 100.
He's like, I'm 103. I read you so well that I was wrong and I'm still right.
It's kind of like this. Let's say you just picked up a basketball on your own. You kind of bounce it. You could get good enough to probably become a junior high or high school level basketball player, but you'll never be a pro.
But that's fine if you're in junior high or high school, because then there will be coaches and practice and like regimented drills and practice. This guy's
pro. You must be trained. Michael Jordan didn't win championships.
Okay, so you can't learn to play team sports alone. Cool, got it. What does this have to do with knowing whether someone's full of bullshit?
And a great mentor.
Oh, it has everything to do with knowing whether someone's full of bullshit.
People that are intuitive, maybe you guys are naturally intuitive, you should be molded, and you can go from a 40 to a 90. You know, you can become extremely good. I can read much deeper in stuff that's not.
Except that you were wrong about this guy's parents. And you're like, well, maybe just give them the test. This guy's parents
he was
are
wrong
probably
several times before too.
This
he
guy's
just
parents
quickly moved on.
This guy's parents are probably cool, and I'm like, I'm not going to take that weird fucking test.
Just things that my intuition. That 10 years ago, I was still intuitive, but now I can almost. It's very, very hard for me to not. I'll give you an example. Some of it's just science. If you meet someone that
I have an idea, and we're going to end it here, actually. Here's how you know someone's full of shit. You ask them a very direct question, and then they try to cold read you. Don't answer the question, and then demonstrate to you that they themselves are full of shit.
Yep. Yeah. In case you have the really stupid idea of taking this guy's test, use a fake email or use a Port 87 email when it asks you for your email to get your test result. Because I guarantee you this guy is using that test just to spam people.
Oh, yeah. He's going to cold read you via your email after you take his test. He's going to be like, well, that wasn't the real test. The real test is $80. I can tell that you're the kind of person who really needs this test. And he only has to be right like 1% of the fucking time, because then get $80 from 1% of those people. Boom. That's fucking sales, baby. Sales. Always be selling.
It's a numbers game.
Man, that's fucking wild, yo. That guy, we ended it. It timed out really well that we got to the how do you know if somebody's full of shit part. And then
right? That is our wheelhouse, man.
Oh, that was, you know what, Matt, if you're still out there, I don't even know. That was great.
Yes. Thank you, Matt. That was awesome.
I think we're going to add this guy to the cast of characters, actually, because I got to see, like, does he ever get questioned by somebody who maybe thinks he's full of shit?
I really hope so. That would be great.
That'd be fantastic. So I'm glad this idea to kind of get away from the usual people that we watch, at least for the first hour of the show, I think has been very good. The download numbers aren't showing it, but I think the show's getting better. And I think that we're sort of delving into places that we never thought we were ever going to end up.
Yep.
So I guess
to be honest, I didn't even know that guy was still around.
You thought they took his Lambo and his books?
I thought maybe like he died or something. I just haven't heard from him, or he just gave up or something. But I guess he's still grifting.
Maybe
I just haven't heard from him in years.
I mean, he said that he kind of stopped or whatever. Maybe he stopped the major grift after he made a bunch of money, and now he's just like doing this personality test shit, and like maybe he's piled up.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe he's doing a smart. Like maybe he piled up enough money and he's just doing this now instead of like however he piled up the money. Who fucking knows? All I know is he said that he had a small house that was 6,000 square feet. And
I mean, if his grift is complete, then good for him for stopping the grift, I guess. It really seems like this test is a grift, though.
Oh yeah. He's probably, you know what? He's probably not even using the email addresses. He's probably just selling them to other people. He's like, here's a list of very gullible people. I think that fucking like when Brett Weinstein pretended he was doing a presidential campaign in 2019, 2020, and he had you fill out this weird form about like how much free time do you have? Give me your email address. How much money do you make? I think he just sold that fucking. He's like, here's a list of suckers. Sell them some supplements.
I could do the test and sign up for it with my Port 87 address, like H Perrin dash Ty Lopez's stupid quiz at Port 87, and I could figure out like what he actually sends, and maybe we could bring that back up.
Yeah. I don't think you'll be able to do it during the Boomers song, but also I think that's probably because you probably, like me, are going to pee and grab a beverage.
I'll just Google it.
Anyway, that's
click away from the tab.
Anyway, that's great. You want to close out the show?
Yeah. This has been the Intellectual Dollar Tree. We do this show every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific, live here on twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. If you're listening to the podcast version, maybe check us out live. After we play the song, we go into red light and we get into sometimes even crazier videos. If you'd like to support us, you can do that by checking out our other shows at echoplexmedia.com. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Echoplex. You can also support us by buying our merch at the store, eplex.store. And if you're listening live, stick around after the song for Red Light. This is Boomers by Periscope.
Say you're blind.